Small Caribbean islands have a reputation for being exclusive, beautiful, and very expensive. But that's not always true. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 small Caribbean islands that are surprisingly affordable, even in high season. And for each one, I'll give you a specific hotel example, so you don't have to guess where the deals actually are. I'll also show you which small island offers the best all-inclusive bargains, if that's more your style. I'm Roger from PriceOfTravel.com. Let's get started. Let's start with Barbados, which a lot of people still think as one of the more expensive Caribbean islands, especially around the famous Platinum Coast. That stretch of the island is where many of the rich and famous own beachfront mansions, so it's easy to assume that anything nearby must be completely out of reach for normal travelers. But what many people don't realize is that Barbados also has plenty of smaller, well-run hotels at much more reasonable prices, particularly if you're not trying to stay directly in front of a luxury villa. One good example is the OceanBlue Hotel, where high season rates start at around $177 per night with an 8.8 review average. It has a gorgeous pool overlooking the coast, and it's just a short walk to a sandy beach, which is often the sweet spot for value on islands like this. Barbados still feels polished and easy, great food, good infrastructure, and beautiful beaches, but this is a great example of how a small island with a luxury reputation can still be surprisingly affordable if you know where to look. Next up is Curaçao, which is similar to Aruba in a lot of ways. Great beaches, colorful architecture, and a relaxed Caribbean vibe, but prices are often much lower. Flights can be surprisingly affordable too. For example, I recently found a round-trip flight from New York to Curaçao for about $243 on American Airlines, which is far less than most people expect for a Southern Caribbean island. On the hotel side, there are plenty of nice beach hotels and stylish places right in town for around $200 per night, which is already pretty reasonable. But what really surprised me is how good some of the under $100 options can be. One standout is Quint's Travelers Inn, where rooms start at around $76 per night, and it holds an impressive 9.4 review average with more than 400 reviews. It's not right on the beach, but it has a nice pool, the same Caribbean weather, and inexpensive taxis make it easy to reach some great beaches around the island. And honestly, if your choice is staying home or booking a place that isn't directly on the beach, this is way better than staying home. Curaçao is a great example of how a small island can still offer real value at multiple budget levels without feeling like you're cutting corners. By the way, if you enjoy travel videos like this, hitting the like button really helps a lot. Next is Grenada, which is often thought of as a quiet, lush island and sometimes gets overlooked, but it can offer excellent value if you approach it the right way. You may have seen Grenada mentioned in recent US State Department advisories, similar to places like the Bahamas. And in reality, Grenada has always been an island where most visitors book a good hotel and focus their stay there, rather than roaming around all day. One really strong option is the Siesta Hotel, set on a lush green hillside, just a short walk from the Grand Anse Beach. Hilltop ocean view suites here start at around $113 per night, and they're quite spacious at about 538 square feet, which is impressive at this price point. The hotel has a gorgeous pool, and it's also close to a great restaurant and a well-known beach bar, so you really don't need to go far once you're settled in. What really stands out is the feedback, a 9.0 review average with over 1,000 reviews, with guests constantly mentioning that the staff are always amazing, which is why so many people keep coming back. Grenada is a great example of a small Caribbean island where staying in the right place makes the whole trip surprisingly affordable and very relaxing. Now let's talk about St. Lucia, which is often ranked at or near the top of lists for the most beautiful Caribbean island, and it usually comes with a reputation for being extremely expensive. What surprises a lot of people is that St. Lucia actually has around 24 all-inclusive resorts, and most of them are small to mid-size rather than massive resort complexes. That makes it a great option if you like the all-inclusive idea but want to avoid the crowds and long check-in lines you often get in places like Cancun or Punta Cana. One solid example is the Coco Palm, where rates start at around $357 per night for 2 people, including the all-inclusive package, with an 8.6 review average across more than 1,000 reviews. The resort has a gorgeous pool, and it's within walking distance of Reduit Beach, one of the island's best and most swimmable beaches. If you like the value proposition of an all-inclusive resort but want it on one of the Caribbean's most scenic islands and without the overwhelming scale, St. Lucia is a surprisingly affordable way to do it. Next is St. Maarten, which definitely isn't known for being cheap, but it can be surprisingly affordable if you catch the right flights and stay just a bit away from the beachfront mega resorts. One of the big advantages here is airfare. Non-stop flights from New York on JetBlue can be as low as about $285 round trip, and sometimes even less if you're willing to fly Spirit. That alone can make the entire trip far more affordable than people expect. On the hotel side, St. Maarten has a wide range of options, from beach resorts with casinos to quieter hillside properties. One good value pick is the L'Espérance Hotel, set up in the hills with a lovely pool and just a 2-minute drive to Indigo Beach. A modest one-bedroom suite here starts at around $152 per night with an 8.4 review average, which is very solid for this island. And again, if your alternative is a $400 plus resort right on the beach, this kind of setup paired with a cheap flight is a great reminder that staying a little inland can make a small island trip much more affordable without giving up the experience. Next up is Ambergris Caye in Belize, which is one of the best small islands in the Caribbean if you're into snorkeling and diving, but still want a place that actually has a beach and a relaxed island vibe. A fun and affordable option here is the Royal Caribbean Resort, where beachfront cabins start at around $103 per night with a ceiling fan, or about $124 with air conditioning, even in high season. The review average is a solid 8.0, which is very good at this price point. The resort has a lovely pool, a good stretch of beach nearby, and easy access to some of the best snorkeling in the Caribbean, including areas near the Hole Con Marine Reserve. And this place also has one of the most unexpected features you'll see on a small Caribbean island, an outdoor bowling alley, which just adds to the quirky laid-back feel. Ambergris Caye isn't about luxury polish, it's about warm water, marine life, and slowing down, and this is a great example of how a small island focused on experiences can still be surprisingly affordable. Let's finish with St. Kitts, which feels a bit more upscale and polished than some of the other islands on this list, and that's exactly why I wanted it here at the end. St. Kitts is a small, relaxed island with very few hotels overall, so it tends to fly under the radar unless you're looking specifically for something quieter and more refined. One place that really stands out for value is the Royal St. Kitts, and if you've seen some of my other videos, this hotel may look familiar because it's appeared more than once for a reason. High season rates here start at around $218 per night with a 9.0 review average, and on an island with very few hotels overall, this one just keeps standing out as one of the best values year after year. This is a place that honestly looks like it should cost a lot more. There are 2 large pools, plenty of space, and it's just a short walk to the lively beach area on Frigate Bay with restaurants and bars nearby. It's also very close to the St. Kitts Marriott, where rooms often start at more than double the price of this one, and that really puts the value into perspective. Compared to some of the more modest, laid-back places earlier in the video, this one feels like the luxury option. And it's a great reminder that even on small Caribbean islands, you don't always have to pay luxury prices to get a luxury feel. If you found this helpful, please give the video a like. It really helps the channel, and consider subscribing for more Caribbean and budget travel guides like this. I've also put together a full article version of this video on priceoftravel.com with the same islands, hotel examples, and links, so you can explore everything at your own pace. If you want even more options, I've also put together a full guide ranking 26 Caribbean islands by price, so you can see which ones make sense at different budget levels, from ultra cheap to more upscale. I'll link that here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.